Welcome back to Man Cave Movie Night, everyone.
Hooray!
Hooray!
I'm your new host. I'm Ian Themerton.
Ian Themerton, welcome
Let's
to the
clap
for
podcast.
Friend of the pod.
He's finally here. He's arrived.
I am arrived on the podcast, the Man Cave Movie Night.
And I'm your co-host, Jared.
And I'm your co-host, Niall.
Lucas.
Ian James Martin. Again.
And Ian, what are you doing
Ian,
here,
why are you
bud?
here?
No, why are you here?
Well,
Get outta
What's
here.
this all about?
Sick of this.
Today, I was asked to do a little fun game to start off this week's 100th episode of Man Cave Movie Night.
Whoa!
What?
100th episode?
What
I mean,
an honor.
it's kind of not really the 100th episode because
It
we
is.
had...
No,
Shut
it
up.
is. It is.
Okay. Yeah, it is. You're right. It is.
Look at the number on the episode. It's 100.
That's the... Yeah.
And then the title of the episode and also episode description.
That's true.
They will all reflect.
I was just say whether or not we count Morbius as an episode
count it.
or...
Yeah, well,
It's an
So-
hour
no.
long, so we should count it.
That's a good point. It is an hour long.
Ian, you were saying before
Yeah,
you were
sorry.
rudely interrupted.
Yes. So, the game is the Newlywed Game, which we'll see how well you guys know each other
Wow.
as co-hosts of this podcast
Wow.
and
All right.
friends in real life.
I'm going to win.
That's a bit
This
debatable.
is a good game because it can gamify friendship and turn it into a competition of who's
That
the
is-
best at being a friend.
Does it
That is why
gamify
it's good.
friendship or gamify memory? Because as we've kind of
Well-
recalled, I have bad memory.
Yeah,
I'm
but
good-
Niall has great memory.
I have pretty good memory
I'm good at
for
recognizing
some
things,
things.
but I'm bad at remembering things.
Yeah, but you
I have
can
good memory until it's important.
You can recognize songs very well, though, Jared.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm good at recognizing. I'm bad
Yeah,
at
but that's
remembering.
memory. That's
It's,
memory.
it's recognition versus recall, all right? And I don't. It's basic psychology.
sorry. We shouldn't get into it. We
We
don't want to
should
make this
get
too
into
highbrow.
The
We can
Newlyweds
talk about it
game.
on our psychology podcast that we do.
Yeah,
Right.
Man Cave Psychology Night.
Man, yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
as catchy.
that's pretty
but...
good. This could be called the Movie Weds game.
Oh, hey, also
Oh,
we're all
we should
wearing the
call
same
that.
shirt. We didn't mention that. We're all matching our Man Cave Movie Night shirts. So if you're watching, which probably will or will not be up at the same time that the audio is up. But if
See,
you do,
I like
Niall, Jared, and I have the same shirt brought to you by
I like
Sick
this
Prince.
shirt because it kind of grips my arms and it makes me look
Yeah.
a little more jacked than I actually am.
Now
Just like
some buff.
resting jacked.
like
Yeah.
True Fit.
Resting
Yeah, well,
Jack is
yeah.
what you want.
This
I-
episode is not sponsored by TrueFit.
Man, that would have been such a smooth transition.
It would have
That
been
be
great.
Very cool.
So, Ian, what are the rules to this game? To the
All right.
Movie Weds game?
There will be 3 different rounds.
Ooh.
Okay.
The first being warm-up.
Okay.
Second being dislikes. Third being likes.
Amazing.
And
I
it
love
gets a
this.
little deeper as we go. So the warm-ups are kind of like, a little simpler. You could probably think of them within a few seconds. So
Great.
they'll go a little faster. So I have more of those. And you want to just get right into it, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, get
how
into
do we present our answers? Do we buzz in?
No, so you'll... Okay.
Just smack your microphone.
So
Do I get a notes app going?
You can if you'd like.
I would
No,
like.
you have to do
I'm a
your
steel
memory. Hold on.
trap here.
All right.
So I'll
Memory.
read the question. Whoever it's towards will think of that answer, as well as the others. And once they're ready with their answer, so say I ask a question to Lucas. He thinks of the answer. You guys think of what you think he will say for that question. And then Lucas will reveal... Well, no. You guys will reveal your answers
I'm going to get it right
first.
every time.
And,
Yeah.
And then I reveal the real answer?
Yeah, and Lucas
Okay.
will reveal
Good.
the real
Okay.
answer.
And no answer changing. Honor system.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
no.
so
I
that's
see.
why you
so we
could
could
write
do...
it down.
Okay, yeah, let's do
Yeah,
that then. I see.
You can say, man, yeah, Lucas, that was a much better answer than what I thought of, but
Yeah.
what came to my mind was this one. You know?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
want the
Yeah, that's
answer.
gonna be
better than
I
I
want
do.
the person who it's about to write it down just to prove to me that you're not lying.
Yes, I
know what I
agree. I
mean?
100%
Yeah,
agree.
you can show it to the screen too.
Because
'Cause-
it's important to me that we're all honest.
I mean, if there's
Seems
but I
one
don't
thing that I
trust
love,
any of us, to be honest.
if there's one thing that I love about Jared, it's that he loves to lie.
All of us love to lie.
I'm a liar.
But Jared, yeah, is kind of the.
I'm
he got
the
me.
president
he's-
liar
he's
of
the
the
liar of the
podcast.
podcast.
He turned me on to lying.
Yeah, you're kind of a lying addict now because of Niall.
All right, let's
Fun
do this.
hobby.
I'm ready.
I'm ready as well.
Ooh, what the heck?
Also, go with what your
That was weird.
Oh,
What
We
happened?
just had something. We just had one of our clips play back to us and then stopped. But
Oh,
our
interesting.
audio is still recording, so we're good.
cool.
So you just got
Yeah,
maybe
I'm
an
ready.
audio sneak peek at Lucas's "Please Do Not."
No, it was
in-
of this. Although
was
that
my-
is.
Oh, of this.
Yeah, it was our
All right,
audio
well.
playing back to us for some reason through my speakers.
Very weird.
All right. Well, the warm-up round 1, will have each question will be worth 1 point. The rest of the rounds will subsequently get bigger in points. Okay.
Great.
Ooh.
And if no one gets the answer right, I get the point.
Oh,
We're playing against the house.
We're against
And the house
Ian.
always wins.
The house does always win. Man, this is fun.
All right. So, starting off round 1, we're going with Lucas.
Ah,
It's because I'm the best.
Okay.
Or the
Lucas,
nearest geographically.
What is your favorite animal?
Ooh.
So write that down.
these are the easy ones.
Yeah, I mean,
I've
like-
got an idea.
it's easier to think of, right?
Sure. Oh, easy for the
Oh,
person that
gotcha.
it's about.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
so it's
I
just a
feel-
little quicker.
I feel the vibe.
So once you guys are ready, let me know.
Ready,
I'm ready.
locked in.
All right. Jared, will you say your answer first and then Niall?
Giraffe. I don't know if that's how you spell giraffe.
I think there's 2 R's maybe, but I don't know.
No clue.
I said lion.
Okay, and Lucas?
He
I
probably
said
said some dumb thing.
pig.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
that's
that's a
actually
good
a pretty
answer,
normal
yeah.
animal.
Yeah. Well, I
Good
mean,
job, bud. You did a
pig because
normal
of my-
animal.
Because of your
inherent obsession with people eating weird things, for money or laughs.
Is pig a weird thing to eat?
No,
I eat
but
pig.
pigs eat things in a weird way.
Sure.
Similar
Oh,
to
that's
how
true.
I like to have people eat things in weird ways, like myself.
right.
Like roast meat off of Ian's body.
Sure.
It's a true story.
That's a true
You
story.
can find on the internet if you look hard enough. We're not going to tell you
You
how. though.
can.
All right, let's go on to question number 2.
Woo.
We're going with Niall. What is your favorite cereal?
That's a good question.
So wait, we don't have to write down our answer though, because only Niall has to, or only the person.
Like, it's
being
kind
answered.
of fun, too.
Yeah, I'm going. As long as it's not holding
Okay.
up the show, I will.
Fine.
I got
I'm
mine.
gonna-
I'm
Like
locked
the way
in.
they're
I'm
like,
also doing the
drawing their
handwriting
Yeah, that's
thing.
good.
I like that, but mine doesn't look as good as Jared's did on the last time, and I'm a little concerned about why. But I don't really
You can do a drawing.
like. Are
thing
you
in
using a
Google
special
Sheets.
app or something, Jared?
I'm using
or
the
just-
notes app, and I'm just
Me
writing.
too, and mine looked terrible. Whatever.
I think mine will look good too, because I know
I
it
think
does.
so.
All
I'm
right, you
ready.
ready,
I'm
Niall?
locked in.
I'm
Yep.
ready.
All right, I'll go first, I guess. Lucky Charms.
No way. No way. Cinny Toast. Cinnamon
Cinny
Toast
Toast
Crunch.
Both
is
of
it?
those make my Mount Rushmore, but the actual answer. Oop! I just added another line, but it's Captain Crunch.
Crab crunch with a little.
Oh,
Well,
that's
that
a good
was
one.
when I dropped it and caught it with my thumb on the screen.
You guys, Ian is destroying us.
Yeah,
I
Ian's
know.
already got so many points.
I'll go over the points after each round.
Thank you.
All right, Jared, are you ready for yours?
Yeah, is there a threshold of how many points we need to get to keep being friends? Like after this, if we didn't get any, should we just stop?
Yeah, we should
Call
just
it
Yeah, the
stop.
a
it.
podcast is
Ended
the
at 100.
podcast.
A
This is
nice
the
round
last
100.
episode. If
Yeah.
we don't all get at least 1 point,
You guys all stop being friends, and you can only be friends with me singly. Like,
Okay.
We can't ever hang out with
Gotcha.
you and each
But
other. It
never
has
at
to
the
be
same
one-on-one.
time.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
yeah.
sure.
All right, Jared, what is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Man, these one-word questions are Rangus.
I got this.
This is
I
great.
feel.
This is
I feel
great.
very
podcast.
confident with my answer.
I know,
Man.
just silence.
Everyone
Okay.
just
Now-
really
now
started
listen.
thinking.
Listen.
It's because we're writing the answers, but I think we can just put them up as soon as we answer them, just because
My answer
there's not really a turn system to this.
is either your favorite or your least favorite, and that is mint chocolate chip.
Mmm.
I'm pretty confident with mine. Warm ham.
Okay.
Great. Awesome.
0 points for Lucas
Yep.
immediately.
Well, guys, this is a pretty easy one because I'm lactose intolerant. Great friends you are. So I said there's cookie dough, which Ben and Jerry's does dairy free, but I just said any dairy free is good for me.
All right.
Yeah,
See,
I had no clue.
here's
That's
my
why I put
problem.
warm ham. Warm ham
I
is
know
a pretty
that
good
you're
default
lactose
because of how
intolerant.
popular it is.
I know that you're lactose intolerant, but also I know a lot of people that are lactose intolerant that are just like, yeah, but I like cheese too much, and they just like have it. And it's like
That's
whatever.
exactly.
They have
that
a
is-
full mini fridge of cheese.
Yeah, that's one person I know that's likes
I'm not
cheese
lactose
too
intolerant.
much. No, one person who likes cheese too much.
Oh, I truly do like cheese too much, to a fault.
All right, that was
But-
round one,
I never know. Yeah.
Round one, and we're all losing.
and we're all bad. We're all bad
Well,
friends.
all of us except for Ian, who is just crushing it.
He's breaking in the points.
Would you guys like to do any of those more simple questions? I mean, I guess they're not
I think
so
we got to
simple.
move on.
Yeah, we got to keep
probably
this
gotta
rolling.
Keep cooking.
Let's go into round two.
Ooh.
Before I ask the question, I'm at 3 points and everybody else is at 0.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
that checks
Cool.
out. That
So-
checks out.
I'm stressed, man.
Well,
All right, Niall,
Yeah.
you're first this time.
Okay.
Okay. What is Niall's favorite character from the Harry Potter series?
no.
Oh, okay.
That's a good.
Good.
question.
That is a good
That's a
question.
good question.
And I'm just gonna go with my gut.
Yeah.
Niall famously does not love the Harry Potter movies, which is fine.
Or books.
We all,
Yeah.
we
Or
all.
Yeah, I
fun
couldn't
or
stick
good.
it through with the books when I was
It's
a little
fine,
kid. I
but it's
halfway through
not
the second
good.
and I got bored.
All right.
All
Yeah, let's just go.
Okay, I said Ron.
I said none or Snape.
Okay,
Both
well that's
good
two answers.
guesses actually with that, Lucas, but the answer is of course wrong.
Let's go.
He got a
I am
point.
on the board, Niall. We
Congratulations,
can remain
Jared.
friends.
If
Well,
if
no, no.
someone doesn't like
Jared-
the thing, then their favorite character is probably the fun character, and that's wrong.
Jared, you can remain friends with Niall, but Niall can't be your friend yet until he gets
Yeah,
an answer
that's
right.
true.
Yeah, I
That's
have
true.
to. I have to earn my 50% of it.
Yeah.
All right, good job, Jared.
Thanks.
And since you got that point, we'll ask you the next question.
Please
Ooh,
do.
nice.
Wow.
All right, what is Jared's favorite sketch from the show? I think you should leave.
Oh, man.
Oh, what is my favorite one?
Yeah, because it's a thing that you don't like very much.
The only
I like
one
this.
that
He likes
I
it
like
more
how
now.
it's
keeps
favorites
coming up
of
to
the
my
dislikes.
Oh yeah, we talked about dislikes. We
Yeah.
talked about dislikes.
This is dope. I dig.
Ian,
Good game. GG.
You know, I did a little research.
I'm proud of you.
okay, I got it.
Lifetime listener of the podcast.
All right. I'm ready to answer.
Wait 1 second.
Let's wait.
Okay,
I don't know if this is true or
keep
not, but-
talking
I hope that it is.
for podcast purposes.
Yeah,
Okay,
Ian,
can I-
what's
can I
your
show my
favorite
answer?
movie?
My favorite
Okay,
movie?
I'm ready.
Okay, never mind.
We only talk to you when it is
Convenient.
absolutely necessary to fill
As a
time.
last resort. My answer is I Can't Breathe, the Carl Havoc sketch in the mall.
There's too much crap on me. All right, mine is Gimme Dat. From the I'm joking. I'm joking.
Yeah, those are the ones I quote a lot with you guys, but by far my favorite is "The bones are their money."
Oh,
Of course. Oh,
classic.
that was one of the
Because that
first
was
ones
the
we
one
showed
you
you
liked
too.
before you even liked the show.
Yeah, that
You
was
were
the
like,
one
yeah,
you
that
guys showed
one
me, and I
is
was like,
funny.
okay, this one's funny.
This one's good.
But all these other
Yeah.
ones you're laughing at, I'm like, I don't think I get it yet.
All
we
right,
should've,
That
we
is a
should've.
good answer.
Oh man.
Man, I should have
Alright.
drawn that differently. I should have been like, bones equal
Equal
money.
dollar sign. Or a yen sign. because that's also money.
I was drawing a dollar.
Oh, that's a good dollar. How are you doing that with your finger on the? I can't.
I'm a
I don't
Pictionary
Your
master,
mitts are too big.
I
which
just
is
can't do it. Yeah, I got
which is
big
great
old
for an
sausage
audio
fingers.
format. I will say.
For
Yeah,
drawing,
you're really
yeah.
good at
Yeah.
Pictionary.
Fiction. Just trust me, guys.
All right. To round this round off,
Nice.
Nice.
we got a question for Lucas. If Lucas was to start watching an anime, what would the series be?
Nice.
I know
Oh,
two
yeah.
answers.
I hope you guys get this right, genuinely.
Okay, got it. Locked in. Easy.
Got it.
All right.
I'm locked in too.
All right, go for it.
Let's see them.
Attack on Titan.
And that was my other guess, but I went Death Note.
No way. Shingeki.
Death
no.
Note. What?
Let's go.
Oh
It's because it's short.
That's exactly why. That's exactly why. But Shingeki no Kyojin, which is the Japanese name
my
of Attack on
gosh.
Titan, would be the other one.
Bro,
So-
I felt so certain that I got that right. Because
I've said Death Note before.
You say that all the time, though. Shingeki no Jojin.
I say Shingeki no Kyojin just because I think it's so funny to know that name in Japanese.
Yeah, dude.
Because-
That's what they call it in Peru. In Spanish, they don't have a name for it, so they just call it the Japanese name.
That's
Kind
awesome.
of weird.
That was great.
Yeah.
Or
All
if
right,
you're
well-
into Demon Slayer, it's Kumetsu no Kaiban or something like that.
Stop knowing that.
Yeah, stop knowing this. Just watch the show. You
Forget
freaking weeb.
I
everything
will
you know.
eventually.
I kind of want to. Is there another round of dislikes?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, then more.
Yeah,
likes
those
then.
were fun. Those were very fun.
It just sounded like you had more of the warm ups, and so I figured.
Yeah, because those were the easier ones to
Okay.
come up with.
I'm sorry that I just exposed your.
Yeah, how dare
Lack
you,
of
Niall?
preparedness.
The first time Ian is here, and you just make him look like a fool,
Yeah.
which in turn makes
Well, that's
you look
kind
like a
of-
fool.
That's what I do with guests on the podcast. Apparently, if
Well-
my mother's appearance in the 200th episode has any indication.
Well, guess what, Niall? You can't make a fool out of me because I'm winning.
Oh, he got you with
Ooh,
that one.
fighting words.
What's the score?
Moving
let's
on
hear.
to round 3.
Wait, that's the scores.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I have
Sorry, I shouldn't interrupt. I'm sorry.
You made him look like a fool. Which
I
makes
made
you
myself
tonight
look
the
like a
biggest
Jared's
loser.
the only one that hasn't made him look like a fool
Yeah.
yet.
So Jerry's the only one that's friends with Ian.
I just
Hey,
want
Ian,
to.
what was your favorite movie?
Oh,
No, I'm just kidding. Let's get.
So
Let's keep
yeah, what's the point total?
I just want to let the listeners know I'm fully capable of what I'm doing, even though that these 3 may not think so.
I think so.
They did invite me on here for some reason.
So if any other podcasters out there are looking for somebody to put together a game show for you, hit our boy Ian Femerton up and he will gladly go on your podcast. He's a professional.
He's a professional.
Very.
For sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Before we move on to round 3, I'll go over the points. Lucas at 0.
Classic.
Niall and Jared at 1.
Let's
What do you mean
go.
classic? I've won almost
Let's
every
go.
game.
Hush.
And
Okay.
Ian's
You
talking.
hush now.
Me at 4.
Ugh.
What
I don't
strong
think we can win,
lead.
guys. I
Strong
don't think
lead.
it's possible.
I don't know. Let's
All
Who
right.
can
sweep.
win?
Round 3, likes. Starting off with Jared.
Hi.
If Jared was shrunken down to the size of a chess pawn, within which board game would he choose to spend the rest of his days?
Oh, what a good question.
Wow.
Holy cow, Ian.
You're welcome.
You're talking board games, yeah?
Yeah. All right, let's
Ugh.
see. He's clearly listened to the podcast.
That is so good. Okay. I've got to go with my heart. I'm thinking about this one way too much.
Okay.
I got this one. I
That's the
already know
purpose.
what you're going to write down.
These,
I hope that I know.
These questions in round 3 are a little bit deeper than the past
Well,
ones
if
have.
Lucas
I can't-
already thinks that he knows, then I think that he and I have the same guess.
I think we might.
Can I be honest? I'm blanking on the name of a board game.
Okay, then it's not that. What? It's not the one that I wrote down then. Because you definitely wouldn't know the name of this game.
I'm gonna draw down a symbol
Okay, great.
And then if one of you guys say it,
Oh, so you don't even know, like, you know the game.
I
but
know
you're
the
blanking
game.
on
I know the
name
game.
of
I just am
Is it
blanking
a-
on a.
Is it a
Gotcha.
hexagon for Settlers of Catan?
That's you. How'd you know that? I feel so dumb.
It's a pile of wood and one piece of ore. He's a very good artist.
It's the Skyrim logo. All right, well, I'm going to stick to my guns because I don't know what other thing to put. So here's my answer. It is Gloomhaven.
Oh, interesting. That's not what I chose.
And I know this isn't what Jared chose because he knows the name of this game.
Same
sure.
with mine, which is I wrote The Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Oh, nice.
It was the Quacks of Quedlinburg,
No way,
but I couldn't
really?
think of it, and so I just drew a little pumpkin token.
Wow.
Let's go, my
Well
dude.
done, man.
Man,
Niall, we
Gloomhaven
can
is-
be friends.
Yeah, man.
Oh, you
Gloomhaven
got
is
one
too
for
sad
each
and
other?
evil of a world.
I kept thinking of like Witch's Brew, but I think that's
That's
an
the
expansion.
expansion, yeah.
And I was like, why
Right.
can't I think of the base game?
But yeah, dude, Quacks is like just such a happy world.
It's very happy.
Gloomhaven is pretty happy.
No, it's
Well-
gloomy.
It's
It's literally
name
the
suggests
haven
it.
where all of the gloom from everywhere else goes.
Yeah, but it's still cool and fun.
No,
Okay.
Man, I'm just excited for the next question. I want to see what else
I
this
know,
guy
that
came up
was
Is
with.
this the last,
excellent
ultimate,
question.
the final question?
There's
No, we've
Well,
still
final
more.
there's
round.
one
There's
for
still two
Lucas
of us
and there's
then.
one
Oh,
for Niall.
sorry.
dude, Lucas doesn't care about me at all.
Lucas only cares about himself.
It's
That's
obvious.
why I've only gotten my own questions right.
And that's why this is the... That was
That's so funny.
All right, well, let's see if you get this one right, Lucas.
Okay.
If a superhero died, but somehow Lucas gained his or her superpowers, what superpower or superhero would it be?
Oh, man.
This isn't like, I guess, like favorite superhero.
This would just be a
I mean, unless
superhero.
you love the powers of that superhero, but
All right.
I already got it.
I'm just guessing. I'm not really friends with Lucas.
Okay.
My answer, if this isn't what you wrote down, Lucas, is going to be what you wish you had written down.
Probably.
And that is Iceman of the X-Men.
I said Spider-Man of Marvel's Spider-Man.
The Spider-Man.
Of
The
Spider-Man
answer I wrote
fame.
was Superman of
Dumb
Superman.
answer.
Because
bad,
he
bad,
has the best
boo.
combination of powers. However,
Boo.
Iceman
Combination
was
of
the
powers.
first name that came to my head.
I-
But Superman.
Should've written it
ultimately, I
down.
think.
Well.
I know you're right. So Niall knows my subconscious more than I do.
yeah, I know your go-to.
So
but
I
I
just-
don't know your analytical brain.
I kind of just answered for myself.
Because
Yeah,
you
And
want
just
Spider-Man.
hope.
That would be so fun to do.
Being Spider-Man.
hope.
would
I
be
think
awesome.
swinging would be more fun than flying
I
because
agree.
of like the just it would be
Yeah,
so
the
cool.
momentum.
Okay, but it's restricting because you can only swing where there are buildings or other
Yeah,
and I like a power with
objects.
limitations, not like Superman.
Not to have though.
Yeah,
Hey, kryptonite is a pretty big limitation.
I
but
think
in
to
this
have it.
Yeah,
fantasy
if
world,
you're on Krypton or if you know Lex Luthor.
good thing in this world of Earth we live on, neither of those things exist. So I would have no limits.
Okay.
it's fun.
Very fun, cool character when that happens.
all right, well, this is the last question of round
Right.
3 and the game. And it's for Niall. If Niall was invited to slap the bass for any artist or band for one song during their concert, which artist/band would it be?
Dude, Niall doesn't even know the answer to this question.
That's a very tough question.
Oh man, I'm gonna go with one that I think Niall would respect, but I don't think he's gonna put it.
Okay, I hope that. Oh, man, I don't know. Yeah, I'm putting this. I'm going with my gut. I'm going with my gut, which is hopefully Niall's subconscious.
Okay. What you got?
Between the Buried and Me. That's what I wrote.
I said, Rush,
Rush. That's a good answer because of
because
I
slap
Love
of the
You,
bass
Man.
also.
Yeah. That's a very good answer. My answer was Haken.
Oh man, see, it was either
Um,
between the Brandon Haken or freaking Deer Hunter.
Deer
The
Hunter.
Deer Hunter, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought about all three of those bands, and I actually did think of Rush immediately because of I Love You, Man.
Yeah.
But I went with Haken because there are entire Haken songs that I can play, and there
And-
are the amount of Between the Buried and Me songs that I can play all the way is very little because they're crazy. So Haken's songs are also crazy, but not all of them.
Dang.
So
Well,
that's my
That's
answer.
a good answer.
that is a good
It's
answer.
a good answer. It could have gone any direction, though. So,
It was a great answer.
to a great question.
Not good enough.
It
for
sucks that you
Jared,
got it
though.
wrong, though. You know.
I know.
Yeah, it sucks that you got it wrong, but I got it right.
I forgot that the answer was Lou Bega,
Was
Mambo
Mr.
number
Worldwide
so that I could
himself.
play Mambo,
Mambo
number
number
5.
5. That's on bass, right?
It could be.
Yeah, it could be.
All right, Ian. What's
Well,
your favorite
thank
movie?
you guys for.
You know what? Let's probably just end this.
Yeah, just end the
Yeah,
whole
what's
thing.
the point totals? Who won?
So I'll start from least.
Who's the best at being
to,
afraid?
to top?
Yeah,
okay.
least to
wonder.
top is great.
So, and I forgot to add the more points from round 2 because those were worth 2 points and round 3 were worth 3 points.
Oh,
Oh,
shoot.
wow.
I forgot.
I totally
Okay.
forgot to
I
do
remember.
that, but I did the math. And so, in last place, 4th place, was
Fourth out of
was Lucas Melcoford.
Hooray! How many points did
That
I get,
sweet
though?
ham.
0
guess really
points.
got you.
Oh, right.
It was
0
hot
points.
ham or warm ham, and
Well,
it was
it was
only because
warm
I
ham.
didn't know anything else to guess, but I should have guessed cookie dough because that's my favorite flavor.
You
too.
could have guessed any
could have guessed
flavor
any
of ice
vanilla.
cream and had more of a chance to be right than by saying warm ham.
Have you never had that in ice cream flavor?
Have
It's
you ever
real.
had that in ice cream flavor?
It exists.
Yeah, but have you had it? Get over yourself. Let's go.
Doesn't exist. Prove to me that it exists. After we're done recording, I would like to have proof.
I don't have to prove anything to
Okay,
you.
who's next? Who's the next best
Coming
at
in
being
at
a friend?
3rd place with 2 whole points is Jared Cooksey.
Oh my!
Oh,
Thank you.
Wow.
You're on the pedestal.
Feels
Stop,
good.
Jared.
Feels good.
and
Take the bronze.
2nd place with 4 whole points
Whoa.
is
What?
Niall.
Oh my gosh!
Whoa.
I can't
Wow.
believe it.
That I cannot.
I
believe
can't
that.
believe it.
And in 1st place, the dark horse of the podcast, with a whopping 10 points,
No way.
is Ian James Martin.
Yes, Ian
Oh,
James
wow.
You know
Martin,
what, man?
Ian Themerton.
Well done.
Thank you guys.
You earned it, man.
Thank you for
You
playing
earned
and thank you for letting me win.
it. No problem.
You're welcome. Hey,
No problem.
we're always here for a little charity.
If we counted our own answers, I think I would have won, but unfortunately, that's not how this game works.
Right.
We all counted our own answers.
I think if we counted our own answers, we would have tied, Lucas.
No, because some of you guys got your own answers wrong. So, but
Oh,
I
yeah,
got all
that's true.
mine.
Niall got
Oh.
one of his wrong for
Yeah,
sure.
You're
Niall
right.
got one
I
of his
forgot.
wrong.
You got Iceman wrong.
No, that was right. Well, no,
Hey, Ian.
I'll see that to you actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
Hey, Ian.
I did get that one.
What's
wrong.
your favorite song?
My favorite song? It's, I think it's this little known theme song that kind of goes like this.
Welcome back.
Welcome
to Man
back,
Cave
guys.
Movie
Welcome
Night.
back,
This
guys,
is
to
our
Man Cave
100th
Movie Night.
episode. We're excited to be
Super
back.
excited to be here
Thank you
doing
so much to
another
Ian
episode.
Themerton
This
This
is
is our
our
100th
100th
joining us,
episode. We're
man.
so
Ian
excited.
Themerton
It was
did
so
a
fun to
great
have
job
Andy did a
of
great
Wait,
doing
whoa,
job.
hey, guys,
the intro game. Yeah,
Who's hosting this episode?
I just
I'm pretty sure it's my time.
I think it's my
because this
turn
is a
to do
pretty
it, 'cause
seminal episode, so I think I should be the one to host
I
it.
feel like
No,
it
but
would
we
make
all are
most sense if I
equally-
did it.
part of this
because
podcast, right?
Yeah, I think I get that 34%, whereas you guys each get your 33%. So
That's
technically,
weird because the podcast I thought was my
Interesting.
idea.
Yeah, but
so-
you only got the idea because I started a podcast.
well, I feel
with
like
my other
most people
friends, which
listen
I
to it because
immediately
I'm
gave up
kind of
on.
the funny one, and I
Yeah.
have the good podcast voice.
I think that my podcast voice is the best one because it's.
How about we all host it at the
Hey
same
guys,
time?
what's over there?
Huh?
Hey, welcome back to Man Cave Movie Night. We're so excited to celebrate our 100th episode with you. Thank you so much for
Yay!
listening.
Woo!
This is crazy. We've hit a bunch of meaningless milestones throughout the course of the podcast, but this is the one that feels real,
Yep.
right?
It does.
And so, I mean, yeah, really thank you everyone for listening and making us part of your schedule and just, tuning in to listen to some conversations. And hopefully we've been able to keep everyone involved. I think that the purpose of this podcast has always been to just have these fun conversations that we wanted to have anyway, and just have a reason for the three of us to get together and talk about movies and music and stuff. And so hopefully you can feel like you're a part of that. I think that's our biggest goal with this. And so
I agree.
because
to-
of that, go ahead.
Well, I just want to make sure that people recognize that my opinions are better than theirs, and so by
Right.
sharing them on the internet, it makes it so that it's there forever, and so that it
And
makes
other
it
people
good.
can start having good opinions
Exactly.
like ours.
Yeah. So once they hear our opinions, they're like, "Oh, that's
I
what my
see.
opinion is
'Cause
supposed to be," and then
The
they can,
unwashed masses, the sheep in the herd,
the sheep of the world.
their natural resting state is bad opinion.
That's
Until they listen
us,
to this podcast.
and
as
then we
lions
inform
among
them.
sheep.
we wash
we-
wash the masses.
Yeah, we cleanse them with our lightning blood, as all lions do.
So
Well, that's great.
just wanted
so
to interject that in there real quick.
it's great because I had a really streamlined thing, and then you guys derail it because we want so badly for you guys to be a part of the conversation, and it means so much to us that you actually listen in and feel like you are part of this conversation. We wanted to actually make you a part of the conversation. That's right. This for our 100th episode, we thought we'd celebrate it by letting you decide what questions we ask each other, right? There's no topic outside of that. It's purely whatever you thought we should talk about. That's what we want to talk about.
Yep.
So we posted a couple polls and, survey things, whatever you call them, on Instagram. You guys answered, and here we are. So we've
Excited as ever.
So,
We've
are
got
we gonna
plenty of
speed? How do we want to do this? Like, do we want to speed round them? Do we want to get through less? Do we want to get through more?
I feel like we just take them case by case. There
Yeah.
are some that are going to be more of a discussion, and there are some that we can just kind of rapid fire answers out.
I think we should
Right?
each
Like-
choose a couple. Like, just go around. Each of us ask each other a question, and then if we steal each other's questions, whatever, we just choose a new one. Because there's a lot. You guys did
Absolutely.
an awesome job of sending some great ones in. With that, I think we should start with a really insightful one that's going to really dig us deep. This question was from Riley Halliday. It was, do you like having a podcast?
Not really.
It
It's
really
a bit of
eats
a
into my
chore.
schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I would agree with
it's
you
kind of
too.
just one of those things that
We don't get
okay,
anything out
we'll
of
do
this.
the
Yeah, I mean,
podcast.
we only get negatives. We don't get money. We don't get to see
money.
each other in
We don't get fame,
person. We don't get fame, and
which is
therefore
what we
why
were
do
hoping
it?
for.
Obviously, I'm joking. I'm joking.
I'm joking.
I love doing a podcast with Niall and Jared. It's so fun, and it's one of my highlights of my week. Isn't that fun?
yeah,
dude, I like
agree.
it too. It makes me feel like there is some worth in my absolute nerdery.
Yeah, definitely. I think anytime you can create some sort of product or something that shows like the work that you put into something is really awesome, right? And so like Niall, I know, plays a lot of music, and just playing music is cool, writing music is cool, but as soon as you have something physical, something that you can
Yeah.
show people like, no, this is what I love and this is what I do, I think that's really cool. And so being able to say, yeah, I like movies is one thing. The other thing is saying, yeah, I really like talking about movies and TV. And I have a podcast with 100 episodes with some friends where we do deep dives into those conversations. That is really awesome.
I thought you were going to be like, saying you like movies is one thing, but starting a podcast with 100 episodes.
Starting a podcast is another thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's how
you and I are
really
not the
like
same.
You like movies.
You like
I have a
movies.
podcast.
I have a podcast. We are not the same.
We are not the same. That's the next shirt we're getting.
I think we all like it.
So thanks, Riley.
Yeah.
Now, a more insightful question comes from Ethan Davis, who asks, do you like movies?
Let's just keep asking these yes or no questions. That's a really good interview style.
I go I switch sides on this one. I've been on both sides of liking movies and not liking movies. And I think after a long time I kind of realized, oh, I just like some movies and I don't like other movies, you know?
Interesting.
No,
And so I would say that as a concept, movies, I'm neutral. And some movies I like and some movies I don't. But until I've seen it, it's just, okay, that's just a movie. Don't know yet.
I actually think that's profound, and I agree with it.
I think cinema failed as soon as they started synchronizing audio with video.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
Go-
as soon
go
as the
back to
talkies came around.
disagree if you want, but that's just the truth of the matter.
Talkies ruined everything.
If you try to invite me over to watch a movie and there's dialogue that is spoken, then I'm gonna leave.
You'll scoff and leave.
I actually just prefer
you like
looking at a
movies.
series of
I have a
pictures.
podcast. We are not the same.
We're not the same. Wait, but aren't we syncing our video up now with our audio?
No, we're gonna delay it on purpose,
We're
Okay, it's not going to be synced up.
so it's okay.
yeah, it's fine. All right.
No,
now
I think on that point, like I do actually think that going back, there was a moment, and maybe I've shared this, but there was a moment when I walked out of a movie theater, and I realized like I didn't like that. Like growing up, it was just, oh, movies are always good. It's always an event.
Right.
It's always a good time. But I really wish I could remember what movie triggered that.
with
But I was just
the
like,
idea that movies
that
can
was
be bad.
not, that wasn't good, you know?
Oh man, that's a good
And
point.
so I don't know, something about that then led me down this rabbit hole of, okay,
Being
why,
the villain of the podcast.
what makes a movie good? What makes a movie bad? Like why
Yeah.
why do I feel more connected to some movies than others? And then I learned about, oh no, like the pacing is something you have to think about. The developing of characters is something you got to think about. The acting plays a big contribution to it. And so I think this whole do you like movies as a question, yeah, like
It's bigger.
is definitely like what Niall's saying. Like some movies are great, some movies are bad. I think what's fun is about really understanding what you want in a movie and just hoping for the best every time you go and see one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love movies so much that I decided to get a degree in it. So I like movies as I'm unlike Niall. I am not neutral towards movies. I'm positive towards movies. So I try and go into movies with a positive mindset.
I actually think I'm the same. I'm more innocent until proven guilty with movies.
Yeah, I
I'm
agree.
like I go in expecting it to be good, and not necessarily expecting it to
Hoping
be
for
good,
it to
but
be
expecting
good.
to
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a different thing. There are movies that I know are objectively not good that I still like. You know,
Well,
Like-
maybe it's a difference of being optimistic towards movies or
Sure.
just being more of a realist about movies.
Yeah.
Which I think maybe I fall into like this whole, no, it's like truly like I will go into it, and if I think it's like with no expectations for the most part, if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. And
Yeah.
then-
right?
I try to do that, but I like to stay positive when possible, but I'm just too forgiving sometimes. I've realized that I'm just like, man, I'm too forgiving in some movies just because it's connected to a certain IP, whereas if it was just its own thing, I would just tear it apart. And I need to not be like that anymore because, or I could stay like it because it's fun to be positive, but I don't know,
Sure.
whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
You guys ever seen Rampage with Dwayne the Rock Johnson?
No.
No,
That was the movie where I walked out and I was like, you know
all
what?
movies are good.
All movies are good. Yeah.
I was right all along.
I had the exact opposite experience of Jared. I hated movies growing up, and then I saw Rampage.
And
with
you're
Dwayne
like, wait
Johnson
a
You
second.
at
finally
age
were
like
Paradigm
17.
shift.
And I was like, wow.
The funny thing
movies
about
are capable of a lot.
the funny thing about you saying that is The Rock actually thinks people have that effect. Like he has that effect on
Oh,
people
yeah.
in his
I know.
movies. It's just
He's
like
a psycho.
Yeah.
finally movies are
All right.
good.
I have
He
I have
does
two
have
questions
that effect
that I
on energy
remember.
drinks, though.
You
Finally,
can pull
Because-
them up.
oh,
Niall, you
yeah,
can pull
dude.
them up and read the questions.
Well, no, because wait, I asked for fan questions on my personal Instagram also, just to get some people that maybe
Oh.
don't follow the page.
Hmm.
And now I can't
want
access those.
No, you can't. Just swipe up.
I can't. I tried and they won't show
Okay,
up.
see how it's
Anyway,
like this?
the ones that I remember,
Slide
hey,
up like
hush.
that, and then you
Yeah,
can see it.
it's not working. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna tell you the ones that I remember because
Okay.
I have tried that and it didn't work.
I think you're lying
Um,
to cover your shame,
okay.
but that's fine.
No, but what happened is I remember two questions, so I'm gonna say those.
Okay.
Same.
First
Two-parter.
one I remember. I believe this was from Nora Barlow. Shout out Nora. And the question was, what is the first rated R movie you remember seeing?
Ooh.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I've got my answer.
All right, say it then.
Because I don't think I was ever shown a rated R movie until I watched one myself. And the first one I watched was The Breakfast Club.
Is that rated R?
It is
Yeah.
rated R.
Really interesting.
So it's a pretty soft R.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good first
the
R.
boxes.
It was an iconic movie, and still is actually. So, yeah, that was my first that I sat down and watched. The first one I saw in theaters, I saw with Niall and a bunch of friends, and that was Leonardo DiCaprio's award-winning performance in Revenant.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was
That one
mine
was
as
awesome.
well. Actually.
Really?
Yep, that was my
Hey,
first
it's-
one.
It's weird that we're all
In
about
theaters.
the same age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's because the thing is, once you're 17, because if you're not 17, you can't see a rated R movies in theaters without your parents, and so that came out in January, and I turned 17 in December, and I was working at the theater at the time, and Revenant was starting at the end of my shift, and so I went in and sat in on it and watched the movie. Then I told my dad, and he was
Nice.
not enthused by that, but it's fine.
Niall, what's yours?
So the one that I remember seeing at home, it's a toss up because I watched a lot from a very young age with my dad just kind of hand editing it.
Yeah, dude.
And the one
My
that
mom
the
did
one that
too.
immediately comes to my mind is Gladiator.
Oh, nice. That's mine as
Awesome.
well. That's
I
my
think
other
that
one.
I watched that
Whoa.
movie at a very young age.
Yeah.
And just loved it, and I still love it to this day. My first
So
one
good.
in theaters, I believe, I might have my timelines messed up, but I believe my mom and I went to see Looper in theaters.
Interesting.
And oh man, I just loved it. I just loved it so much. It's still my favorite time travel movie. It's so good, and I'm pretty sure that was pre-Revenant.
It is,
In fact, I'm almost 100%
yeah, it is.
sure.
It is.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
definitely is.
So yeah, but I also Revenant was one of the. I think that was probably the first one that I went to alone,
Yeah.
like without a parent. You know.
That's wild. Yeah, Gladiator was the first one for me as well. My mom tried to do the
Nice.
hand skipping thing and was not good at it.
Sure, my dad was excellent at it, as far as I can recall.
Because you don't have any memories seared into your brain of seeing something you
of,
shouldn't
like
have.
anything horrific. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, great.
What was the other one you remember?
The other one that I remember was from Caitlin Woolley. Shout out Caitlin. And the question was, what is a movie that you think is overhyped or gets more credit than it deserves?
Ooh, interesting. Knee-jerk reaction, obviously Drive. But I want to go
Yeah,
with,
yeah.
think
Shut
it's
up about
true.
Drive.
I think it's true.
I want to go with one that's a
'Cause,
little
look,
bit more
you can,
unique that we
you
haven't
can
talked
like it or dislike it, but does it deserve the amount of hype that it gets?
Sure.
Even if you like it, come on.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
about. There's another question that kind of ties into this one with
Ooh,
Drive.
ask it.
Let me just find it again because I read it. I was like, "Oh, Drive is the perfect." Holly Shank, shout out to Holly, asked, "Red flag movies, boys or girls?" And so I think that kind of ties in because if someone's like, "Drive is my favorite movie," Drive is literally me. Like that is just makes me roll
That's
my
a red
eyes
flag.
so hard.
Sure.
That is
Same with
definitely a red
American Psycho.
flag. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So
Which
that's
is a
my-
bummer because I love American Psycho.
Oh, I love it
but I
too.
can't tell people that I love it.
well, you can say I
know?
love it. I think it's
Like,
hilarious. If you say I love it, I think it's
Sure.
so deeply like I connect so much to the main character. Same
I
thing with
love
Wolf of
it.
Wall Street.
I see a lot of myself in Patrick Bateman.
yeah, it's like that's where the red flag arises
yeah.
because I
just
love,
grind so hard. I work so hard and I make so much money. I have 16 different side hustles.
Yeah.
I'm just like Patrick Bateman.
yeah we're
That's
just we're
very
the same.
true.
I just got another 6-figure summer doing door knocking this year. It was so
Yeah,
awesome.
dude.
I just bought my third Rari. Man, I'm doing so well, guys.
Yeah, that's the kind of guy you don't like.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. My what I think is the most like overhyped that really was not good, and I've said this before, same thing, it might be a red flag, but probably not as much. The Greatest Showman. I thought that movie was really not spectacular in any of the ways anyone was saying, and I had to listen to the music's good. Don't get me wrong. It has good music, but I think that's all it has going for it.
Yeah.
Everything else was super, super mid. And everyone was talking about it for like a year. And I was like, I saw it in theaters and I just wanted to leave like the whole time. Like it was just not entertaining. So
That's so funny. I did not watch it in theaters. I just watched it at home because my mom and my youngest 2 siblings were super into it. And, you know, I get it. It's fun. It's like a fun family movie. It was super popular in Utah. It was in theaters for like 6 months because people
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
kept going back to rewatch it. Like my aunt and uncle and their kids saw it like 8 times in theaters. Just an
Ugh.
I went to the
obscene
sing-along
amount.
version.
Yeah, exactly. They just kept going.
sure
and I was
they
like,
did
wow,
that.
that
Oh
movie
my
does
gosh.
not deserve that.
I saw it once, and I saw it in theaters on a date that I was very excited to go on. And so I loved it, but it's probably just because I was very excited to be on that date, and I was just willing to be stoked about everything. you know?
sure.
So I don't know what my opinion is on it.
I'll-
I remembered liking a lot of like the visual, like the performance elements, specifically Zac Efron, Zendaya flipping around the thing.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
Zendaya
Do you
was in
remember?
that. I'll say this about the. I saw it once. And it was a long. I remember very little except for just being ugh, the whole time.
Okay. All right.
The
I thought
live
that was going to be a
action-
big unpopular opinion. so
Yeah,
I'm glad.
yeah.
I'm glad.
I'll say
I've got
this about
someone
like the
in it with
overhyped, the Disney live action remakes, and I think people are starting
all
to
of them.
agree with this more and more. Just the idea of them making so many, I think it really start to. But the thing is, they're pointless, but they make $1 billion every time, and so it's like
Yeah.
people are like, oh man, they're so dumb, but then they go see them, and therefore they make money. And so I think they're overhyped, and most of them are just worse than the originals. So why even make them at all? But
Yeah.
whatever. Like the
I have
ones
a
they have
prediction.
announced that there's trailers for, like Peter Pan and Wendy and Little Mermaid and all those other ones, I'm like, dude, these look so bad. Like they do not look like they're doing anything fun or cool with the stories. They're just saying, hey, look, live action, and you know the animals look weird now. Isn't that fun when we
Yeah.
do that?
I have a prediction.
Let's hear it.
Predict.
The earlier ones performed really well because the appeal was not, oh, it's like a new movie or whatever. It's, oh, I'm gonna hear Donald Glover's voice, you know, like
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like they were getting these really big names,
Reimaginings.
and now they're not anymore. They're getting like these new up and comers, and it's like, all right, we don't care anymore.
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
think they're gonna start really going down because of it,
Interesting.
because it's like, I would have gone to those early ones in theaters had I been around, but I wasn't. But like, had I been around to go to those in theaters, I would have, because I'm like, oh yeah, I want to hear Eric Andre be the voice of one of the hyenas for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But now it's like, I just don't care about the people that are in the movies because they're like like they're newcomers, which is cool that they're getting to do that. But at the same time, it's like, just watch the one that I like.
That's not a draw.
Yeah.
I want to see
There's
Jim
no draw
Gaffigan
anymore.
as Smee or whatever it is.
Was that a
Well,
thing?
I would
Is that a
love to see that.
Yeah,
Is
that's
he in it?
He's in Peter Pan.
Well, I'm going to
and
that then.
Wendy.
Oh, he is really?
Stoked about
That's
that. I
actually
had
the
no idea.
casting.
That's hilarious. I think that's a Disney
Is it
Plus.
Shmee? Is that his name?
Shmee, I don't know.
Like Captain Hook's right hand man
I think
guy?
that's his name. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like I said.
That's Jim Gaffigan.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Sure. I mean, maybe I'll watch with my family, but I do not see myself going out of the way on my own and trying to watch it.
Yeah, absolutely not. And I'll say this, Disney is the king of intellectual properties,
Yeah.
right? At this
Oh, yeah.
point.
They own
What
everything.
what they are really good at as a company is taking these intellectual properties and reusing them, using them in different ways, like theme parks and merchandise,
Yep.
you know, making these TV shows, making these movies, making live action movies. And they're going to keep doing that in whatever way they can. And I think that's just part of their business strategy, right? I don't think it has anything else to do. It's just about
Yeah.
money.
It really is.
It's
100%.
never like, it's like, no, we have these properties. We're going to keep reusing them in every single way we can to make as much money off of this one character as
Yes,
possible.
yeah. It's never like oh man, we're just super passionate about independent filmmaking. I just really hope we can get this artist's voice shared with the
Yeah, who
world.
freaking cares?
Yeah.
I have my overrated movie, and then we can move on.
Okay.
Yeah,
let's
let's
hear
hear it.
Also a musical, Grease. Freaking hate Grease, dude. I hate Grease.
What do you
so
not like about
much.
it? The 40-year-olds playing teenagers, or the
That I
Or the
don't
overt
really like
sexism.
Olivia
Or
the-
Newton-John, which is that's a hot take to not like Olivia Newton-John, but I just am not a huge fan.
Didn't she
And then,
recently
like,
die? How dare you
maybe.
disparage the dead?
wow.
I
Wow.
was
Rest
disparaging
in
what she
peace,
did while
Queen.
she was alive,
That's
which was
true.
be in Grease.
Well, John Travolta's career died a long time ago, and nobody said anything.
Yeah, except he shows up in like State Farm ads sometimes, and he's like bald and has a beard and
And
tries to
Scientology
sing.
conventions. But I just like I think that it just actively has a bad message, and for some
Yeah,
reason
yeah.
it's like the Utah families are like, yeah, Grease is like our favorite musical, and it's like the musical that tells your daughters to change who they are to impress men. Like, up out of here. It's the more human, applicable version of The Little Mermaid. Same message.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, oh, there's a man that you like. Change your nature.
Change
and then he'll like you.
everything about who you are to make him like you. Yeah, exactly.
Pisses me off.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that reimagined in live action, though. Finally, we get to see it in live
With
action.
real cars
With real-
and real hair. No, but I'm gonna make a statement, and this is a bold statement, but I'll stick to it. And if you approach me in person about it, I'll stick to it in person. If you like Grease, you're dumb. Okay.
Whoa, that's a little bit
Next
aggressive there, Niall. Or-
Listen. We need more aggression in this country. This turns into a political
it
thing.
all of a sudden becomes a political podcast.
Everybody in this country is so soft; they're not willing to say what they actually think. Not me.
Not me. I'm willing to
Grease is
insult
bad,
people
and
to
if you
their
like it, you're
faces.
dumb.
I'm willing to insult people via the internet on an audio
No.
formatted podcast where they're listening and providing me with fun support.
and then say that I'll back it up in person, but not
Not
actually
at
back
all,
it up in
yeah.
person. No, I'm of course kidding. You can like Grease, and that's fine.
Nice.
But
All right.
it is bad.
This next question is one from Roan Oberg. So shout out to Roan.
Ron.
Wow.
His question is favorite guilty pleasures. And so I'm going to assume that's of any,
Just in general.
of general. But we can tie it into movies or whatever.
Of all disciplines.
Because my life revolves around media and entertainment consumption anyway. And so my guilty pleasure has to do with that. And it is a pleasure that has gotten me fat and lazy, but it is something that I enjoy doing, which is sitting down late at night when it's like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. and watching a sitcom, because I love watching sitcoms and like Seinfeld or Sunny or Office or whatever. And I love doing it with a bowl of cereal, because cereal is my favorite food. And if I do that there was literally a moment when I came home from work one time when I was working as a server where I was just exhausted. And it was super late, and I sat down. I was like, okay, I know it's late and I have work in the morning, but I'm going to sit down and enjoy this sitcom and enjoy a bowl of cereal. And I literally could feel dopamine just rushing through my body. I was like, this is literally
so
like an
excited.
addiction for me. I just love it so much.
That's awesome.
No,
I
think
love that.
I think honestly, there's something so rewarding and exciting about spending alone time watching a show or movie because you have time and you want to watch it.
Yep. It's just
Like, there's something different, I think, about watching a movie with friends versus watching it alone. And I think you get maybe it's more looked down on to just spend your time watching movies alone,
Which is dumb.
you know, versus like, oh yeah, it's a social thing. But going to a movie by yourself or turning on a movie by yourself, like, and just having your snacks is just so rewarding.
It really is.
Right.
And I reward myself far too often with that. It's become to the point where it's just like, this is the expectation. This is what you deserve every day at all hours of the day, no matter what. And that's unhealthy, but it is something that I love doing. We're talking about guilty pleasure, so I do feel guilty about it, but it is a pleasure.
Sure.
So,
Dude, last year for spring break, I forgot to get work off, and all of my friends were out of town, and so it was just me alone, and I decided to, like, kind of do that for myself every day. So every night I turned off all the lights in my room, and I turned on my TV, and I got all comfy, and I watched a new movie that had been on my list for a long time every night, and it was amazing.
That's
so
rad.
I definitely feel that, and, like, I had my, version of cereal, which is a tobacco leaf scented candle.
oh, what the heck?
That candle, I don't know what it is, but it's like,
It's tobacco.
for me, the same thing. When I light it, well, yeah, no.
I don't know what it is.
It's crazy. I just hit this hit of dopamine every time I light it.
No, but for real,
It feels
it's
so
because
good.
it's the scent of a tobacco leaf, and that for me is the same. It, like, I get that crazy dopamine rush. That's not my guilty
Will you
pleasure. That's
look
just
and
my
see how
normal
much
pleasure,
nicotine
'cause I'm
might
not
be
guilty
in that?
about it.
Or
Up out of here.
And then I light up some cigs, and
but-
it just helps the whole room smell.
My guilty pleasure is The Bachelor and The Bachelorette.
Oh,
good,
nice.
good,
Yeah.
good, good.
I don't ever watch them alone
Right.
because that's like
That's-
why
That
would
is
you?
psychotic.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you get a group and you're watching The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, it is so much fun. And, like, you just make fun of it the whole time. But also, everybody that says, oh yeah, I just watch it to make fun of it, I don't actually care about the relationships or anything, I honestly think that they're lying, because you get sucked into it and you start really caring. And there are certain people that you're like, no, yeah, you deserve it. And there are other people that are like, no, you need to get out of here. And so you make fun of everybody, but you start actually developing some passions in certain directions. And I love it. It's so much fun. It's like it's one of the best game shows out there. Love it.
I
Yeah, that's
have
a
watched
great-
very
that's a
little of The
great answer.
Bachelor. But I'm glad
That's a
that you
shame.
find joy in it. I would never take
Had
that
a
away
good
from
time
you.
with it.
Yeah,
Thanks.
my answer. I've talked about this a lot. You guys know it, but I've watched Glee maybe 5 times through. And I've enjoyed it
Jeez,
every
dude.
time. There's a while where I had like just a Glee song playlist. Like I wouldn't even listen to the originals. I'd listen to the Glee covers because I'm like, I just love the show. I love the characters.
Yeah.
I love the dumb drama. You know, I love the music. Like, yeah, they're covers of great songs, so they're gonna be great. And
Well,
there's a time in my life you could have said, hey, you know, their like rendition of "Hit Me with Your Best Shot." What was that? And I'll be like, oh yeah, that was the dodgeball scene. That was in season 3. You know what I mean?
Where you just
Which
do
it actually
every-
might be. You can go look that up.
Very well
But,
could be that exact thing.
Dude, hit me with your best shot during dodgeball sounds like the cringiest thing I've ever heard in my life.
And I'm gonna be honest, probably is.
Hey.
That's why it's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. No shame, man.
You guys, my
This is a
secret,
no-shame
my
zone.
secret guilty pleasure is that I've seen every episode of Young Sheldon. I'm
No,
caught
you
up.
have not.
5 times.
No, you have
No,
not.
I have not. But that would be really funny if I
That
just
would
had
be
some crazy
amazing.
revelation. I was like, my favorite
What
guilty
a
pleasure is that I've
confession.
seen every anime and I speak Japanese.
Well, we already know you speak Japanese.
Yeah,
you
you
did
know.
a little bit of it in this episode.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of-
Mendatse. I'll go. Next one is from Charter Kelly.
Ooh, Carter Shelley in real life.
love
Shout
him.
out to Carter.
Shout out.
Shout out. What is the most disappointed you've ever been by a movie you had high expectations for?
Man.
It's a
Mm.
great
Let's
question.
incorporate TV into this as well, just so we get a little bit more diversity. Unless you
Yeah,
guys want to
sure.
just do movies.
No, I think that's fine.
I've got my answer, and I have. This is an interesting one because I think this was my movie where I realized that movies could be bad.
Interesting.
And I didn't even realize until a couple of days later.
Oh.
Well, actually, probably the next day. the first midnight showing that I went to alone, not alone, but like with my friends, not with
Not with
my
parents.
sister who took me to the midnight showing of Mamma Mia. The first one that I went to with friends was Avatar: The Last Airbender, or I guess just The Last Airbender.
No.
Yeah, The Last Airbender.
Man.
And I remember that night wanting so desperately to like it that I went to bed convinced that I liked it. And then throughout the rest of the next day, I slowly, just thinking about it, was like, was that maybe not very good? And then 10 minutes later, like, I think it was not good. And then, like, by the end of the day, I was angry that that had been taken from me, and that I had put so much effort into wanting it to be good for it to not be good. Oh, I was so upset. And I'm still upset for my younger self that I wasn't strong enough to be in that moment say that I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great answer.
Man. I'll
And
go.
in fact, that might line up with the timeline of when I watched the movie that I realized movies could be bad.
I'm really curious. I want to go through like kind of
That
my
could
letterbox
be
and go through my lower rated movies and just think of like the timeline of when they came out and when I would have watched them, because I don't remember a specific movie or point in my life where it's like, oh yeah, movies can be bad. I think it was more of a transitional, like, oh yeah, some movies are not as good as others, and then it was a few movies that I saw. I was like, oh man, this is just not a good movie.
Right.
The movie, of course, I'm going to say, I'll get it over quick because I think we know what it is, and that is Star Wars Episode 9. Because that was a movie that I was on my LDS mission for. And so that was the number one movie I was looking forward to watching when I came back, because I knew it would come out while I was gone. And so when I came home, and that was the first thing I did. I was like, saw my friends and everything, and I saw some family that night. We watched it, and I was so tired and kind of loopy, and also I just sprained my ankle on the flight home, which is a whole other story. But I was kind of out of it, and I watched it, and similar to Niall, where it was like, oh yeah, I liked it. It was good, just because I was kind of like in denial. And then I was kind of thinking about it more the next few weeks as I was watching other good movies that I had really wanted, and liked after seeing them, like Endgame and some of the other Marvel stuff and whatever else that had come out while I was gone. I was just kind of thinking, maybe Episode 9 wasn't actually so good. And it was the point where I read the book version of the movie, because those always have more details, and I've read the novelization versions of all the Star Wars movies just because I think it's fun to get the more details with it. And I was like, yeah, still not into this. And then we did the sequels episode for the podcast, one of the very first episodes, where I rewatched all three of them. And it had only been a couple months. It was like August or September. It was probably November, actually, because that was when the podcast started. So it had been like maybe 6 months-ish. And when I finally got to rewatching it, I was like, man, this movie is horrible. And it is so bad to the point where now the shows and other movies have to adapt and try and
They're tainted.
They're tainted because they have to try and make that movie make sense in continuity because of how bad it is. And so like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau having to integrate stuff that Episode 9 does into the Mandalorian and stuff, because it's like, well, they never mentioned Palpatine or anything like that, and it's making it a little bit more understandable, but it's just bad. It's just a bad movie, bad story. Every decision they made with that was just horrible. And
we could have done it better.
Yep, we could. Honestly,
way
most
better.
people could have done it better, and I think that's part of why they're
Which
making
is
this
crazy.
Rey movie so quickly.
The
Is they're like,
fact
hey,
that-
sorry about this, by the way.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
The fact that everybody could have done it better really makes you wonder, why didn't they then? Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's like one of the most high-profile movies to ever be released, and it was just
And it disappointed the box
so
office too. It didn't
bad.
get as much as 7 or 8 in the numbers.
yeah, because everybody, like, the first reviews were like, hey, guess what? Don't see this because it's garbage.
And to Jared's point, though, like this is a Disney movie. It's all about the money. They're just the IP monsters, and they just
Cha-ching.
did what they needed to make it a simple story that was not pushing any boundaries and just the dumbest fake fan service crap ever.
dumb.
But enough of my Star Wars rant. Jared, please answer your question.
Yeah, I think the one that comes to mind as like the biggest disappointment was Fant 4 Stick.
Oh,
Where
interesting.
the cast, I love the cast.
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. Finally a new version, like in this world where superhero movies are real and they have like these cool stakes and like, I don't know, when did that one come out? Like
2014.
15. I was like, okay, yeah, superhero movies are a thing now. We finally get a reimagining of the Fantastic Four, who's like, that's such a sick group, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
Only for that movie to be just the most boring, horrible movie.
Dude, they don't even get their powers until like an hour and a half in.
I know.
It's so bad.
Such a waste.
Like I'm looking at it on Letterboxd right now, and it has an average rating of 1.4. That's
what's
like
actually,
the lowest I've seen.
That's crazy.
Dude, it's so bad. And you know what's
out
actually
of 5.
really funny about that, on Letterboxd in particular, is
Uh-huh.
that the director, Josh Trank, has a Letterboxd review, and it's the most liked Letterboxd review on it.
On it?
Yeah, and it's a 2-star rating. He gave his own movie 2 stars, and he writes a pretty big review about it. Basically, where he's just saying, oh, part of it was studio intervention, but part of it is just, honestly, it just wasn't very good to begin with. And, yeah, it's just very interesting.
That's
Interesting.
interesting. Because
I'm gonna
also
have to read
Josh Trank made one of my favorite movies ever, which is Chronicle. And so, like, I know that he has it in him to make a movie that I really enjoy, And so, like, I do tend to lean on the side of believing him when he talks about, like, studio intervention issues. But that's interesting that he talks in that about how it's just like, yeah, it just kind of wasn't good anyway. I'll have to go read that
Because he didn't write it.
haven't
Directors
heard
for
about that.
superhero movies almost always
Rarely,
are hired
right.
as the director.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, this is the story that's been written out by a lackey who was told exactly how to write this movie, and you're going to direct it in the exact way we want you to direct it. And there's been some more creative freedoms that they've been given as time has progressed, but that's pretty much the cut and dried way of how it goes. But yeah, Niall, have you got a question for us that you've dug up?
Yeah, let me. No, I don't, but I can find one.
Okay,
I have a challenge.
Let's hear the challenge.
A challenge.
Someone
I'm
asked
down.
us, see who can count to 100 the fastest.
I don't want to do that, so I'm not going to participate.
Ah!
Whoa.
Yep.
Instead of yes and, no but.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'll do it.
I
Let's
just
do
did it.
All right.
That was way too fast.
I already did it, Lucas. You don't need to.
Okay.
'cause I
Yeah,
already did
that
it.
was
Sorry.
him counting.
Let's see.
He
Evan
said,
Allred,
I
I'm
heard
sorry for showing
distinctly
any question. I'll do it.
1,
All right, here we go.
17, 87.
No, we're not doing
and
it.
that-
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I already did it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20,
I'll pull up a question while they're doing this. While they're trying to catch up, I'll just let's go through the list. I know we got some good ones. Let's see. How about how do the episode
100.
topics get decided?
Huh?
This is just a little bit of how the sausage is made.
Yeah.
How the sausage is made is it is chopped straight from the animal as the processing plant
Yeah.
is about to be
As
fired
you were
up.
about to
Right,
eat it.
like the recording button has been pushed, and then we say animated movies.
Yeah. Cartoon.
Sometimes. Okay, it always
No,
varies. Sometimes
in our darkest day,
there are
That's what
months
it's like.
where we're like, okay, yeah, next week is this one, and then the following week is this one, and then the following week is this one. So everyone should have this watched by then, this watched by then, go see this in theaters, and then we have this episode. So like this last month or
Yeah, these
maybe
last
even
few
a little
weeks
bit
have
before
been
that.
great with that.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
And then other weeks it's like, oh, yeah, this was my week. We
could do
guys
Steven
wanna
Spielberg.
do actors.
But yeah, the next few weeks we do have plotted out. Like next week will be The Last of
Oh.
Us. So keep your eye out for that. Last of Us season 1.
Heyo.
Ayo.
I was gonna say I don't think we have anything planned out until episode 200. That's the next concrete plan that I
We're
know
not gonna do
of.
anything like an event
true.
for 150. Just
No, who cares about 150? Not me.
I think it's pretty cool.
Did we do anything for 50?
The funny thing is we've already had an episode 200 as well.
That's true.
Well, yeah, I know.
That's
But this will be 202 Electric Boogaloo.
Ooh, that's
Oh, that's great.
200 and then.
But then we're gonna have a
part two.
202 two episodes after.
And
Yeah, but it won't be
episode
202. It'll be
that's gonna
200
issue.
part 2.
200.2.
Man,
2.0.
look forward to that.
Yeah.
That's how this goes. Now the real question here is how do you come up with the cold opens?
Oh,
the
that's
ads?
that's a good.
Because that's
It was-
the real one.
So it was easier at the beginning, for me at least, because that's when we were doing like fake ads every time.
Yeah.
And so it didn't even have to apply to what we were talking about. It just had to be, oh, I've got this funny idea for an ad. I'll write it out. And then you've got things like, the Corvor store, which is still one of my favorite
Or
things that I've
the zoo
written.
is
Or
bad.
yeah, Zoo is Bad.
Bad.
Which still
Yeah.
makes
And
me
I
laugh
love
every time I
those.
think about it.
Zoo is Bad was funny. But now it's a little more like, I feel like I have to create a game with rules. And it's like,
Well, it's like
it's
a
little
game.
stressful.
Or something that has to do with the topic.
Yeah, like an
Yeah.
ad or
And so-
like an impersonation or something dumb. So
Maybe I'll go back to just writing ads for
Yeah,
mine.
I don't think we ever said we
We-
wouldn't.
we-
Well, like
would
we
that
didn't.
every-
It was just it was a
transitioned.
natural
yeah, it was just a
cultural
natural
shift.
progression.
But I think I'm gonna start doing some more ads again because I had a lot of fun writing.
Do it.
them.
No one
Yeah,
ever
do it.
said
I
you
think-
couldn't.
At the end of the day, let's just do what's most fun.
Yeah, exactly.
What's most fun
And I
for
think
me
that is something that
winging
people
it.
do like about our podcast. I have a couple friends who have gone through and only listened to the cold opens, which is
Really?
kind of funny. But
Might
whatever.
as well.
It's,
There's a
It's because
There's a
they listen
podcast that-
to one too many news sections.
yeah. We're just
Yeah.
like, all right, I've given up on this.
oh the news sections, dude. We stuck with that for a long time before
Far
we realized
too
that
long.
was a dumb thing to do.
Hard to long.
There's a podcast that I listen to. I listen to in air quotes because I actually just skip to. They do like this segment that I think is funny in every episode, and so I just find that timestamp and watch that, and then
And
bail
that's it.
because I'm like, yeah, I don't care about these people enough. I just like this one thing that they do.
I've been
So I
listening
get that.
To Smartless podcast episodes. I've just been going through and finding like the directors episodes because they're really interesting. They're super like laid back.
Because you're a nerd.
And because I'm a nerd. I'm a dumb idiot nerd.
Yeah,
But
you're a
I will
loser.
always skip to when the interview actually starts because I think the three of them, their banter is like fun enough, but I don't really
Yeah.
care about it. Like I'm not listening for them
Right.
because I love Will Arnett and
That's a hot take.
Jason Bateman, but like Sean Hayes, like I don't know, he seems fun. I like he gets me to laugh sometimes as well.
I've done that
I just
actually
never
with
watched
many
Funny Guys or anything.
episodes of Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's just
So
I.
it's kind of the same thing. And Conan's one of the funniest people
I
who
love
yeah.
Conan.
ever lived.
But I'm listening
And
for the
so-
guest. Like I'm not listening for them, and so I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have some great bits.
My
though.
mic just freaked out, so sorry everybody.
Oh yeah, that's my bad.
No.
I was cursing it.
No, mine did. Oh, you were messing with my mic.
So here's
rude.
here's a one that was asked multiple times by the same person. And is it "Do you ever love
Chill.
me?" or "Did you ever love me?" And it was Britton Inkley who said, "Did you ever love me?" And I will say, yes, I did and do currently still.
I'll say yes, I did, but you know what you did, so
And I'll say, I just don't think we've gotten there yet. But I'm having a lot of fun, and I'd like to keep hanging out.
And then this is a two-parter because he has an actual question he asked as well, which is,
great.
if you could take one person from any film to Mordor, who would you take and why? I think that's kind of a fun.
Superman.
Frodo, so that I wouldn't have to have the ring.
Superman.
Yeah, see how dumb of an answer
Yeah,
that is,
Superman.
Lucas?
Dumb answer.
See how much
Oh,
that
come
answer
on.
just sucks?
But that would be that's just the right answer. To have Superman's powers is the best person to have the powers of.
I think it's
he
Spider-Man.
he would fly faster than time, and the movie would be over.
No, it doesn't
Iceman,
matter.
he
It
could
doesn't matter
slide up.
the movie. This is in my life. If I were to choose any superhero that I could just steal the powers of because they died, it would be Superman.
Oh, you're going back to the...
Oh, we're
yeah,
going
we're
back
coming
to
the
that.
original
Gotcha.
question.
Okay.
Gotcha. The answer should be Iceman because that's your actual
Yeah,
answer.
it is. I got that question wrong, but I don't care because Superman good. Power wise, at least. But with this Mordor, who would you take to Mordor? I would say probably Venom.
Light Yagami.
Venom. It's you and Venom, but
Morbius.
he's over top.
Morbius, Venom, and Lucas Koford are the Fellowship of the Ring.
Just the three of us hanging out.
Bum, 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 bum.
From Rivendell to Mordor, the three best friends, Lucas, Venom, and Morbius, are hanging out, having a good time.
Did you know that the only words that Morbius ever says to Lucas in any of the movies or the books is "and my fangs," and it's Morbin
And
time?
my fangs. And my symbiote.
And my Oh, man. I love that.
I would take Hank Hill
Hank Hill from
Wow.
King of the Hill.
from King of the Hill.
That would be
yeah.
entertaining, for
This
sure.
is a good hang.
He's a good king. Is it? Well, maybe this question's more meant like, wait, am I Frodo and I need a Sam?
I think so.
That's kinda what I
I think that's the
imagined.
idea,
Okay.
yeah.
I was thinking I'm just going, and so that's why my original answer was Frodo, so that somebody could carry the ring.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're Frodo.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why Venom, because Venom could protect me much better than Sam could have.
Right.
Okay.
And he
Yeah,
also could have
I'd
had
probably
some
take-
funnier quips along the way.
Then Sam, Venom, famously hilarious quipper.
I think, yeah, Sam is loyal and trustworthy
And
and
stalwart.
hardworking. So I've got to take someone or something that's exactly the same. And I'm going to take Marmaduke.
Marmaduke.
Very good answer.
And he,
Marmaduke is good.
another very good quipper as well. He'd be laughing the whole way.
Yeah, I'd be laughing, bro.
I was also planning on maybe taking the animal route and saying the gopher from Caddyshack, because that is a clever little guy.
So
Clever. All right, we've got time for like one or two
Well,
more.
we can go as
Yeah,
long as
let's
let's
do.
make this the longest episode ever. Let's go for 40 more
I think
minutes.
it may already.
40 more minutes.
Yeah, let's hit that 2
to the
hours.
2-hour mark.
Fun fact, every episode after 100 is going to be 2 hours long now instead of one.
Yeah, we're
Because
making
our main
movies.
complaint is that it's not long
That
enough.
is our main complaint. They're gotta be movie length. Speaking of movie lengths, the runtime.
Movie lengths.
Sorry.
Movie, he said.
Movie.
Just want to point out your error to everyone.
Thank you. I think they.
No
heard it.
errors get by. Okay.
That's not true.
I
I've
think
made
it's by
other
me.
errors on this podcast grammatically and with my speech impediment. Thank you for shorting that out to the world.
What were you saying?
I don't have a speech impediment, but I'm just bad at speaking sometimes.
What were you saying about movie lengths? Or movie lengths?
Martin Scorsese's new movie, Killers of the Flower Moon, that I brought up in our most anticipated for 2023, has a runtime of 3 hours and 54 minutes.
No, it doesn't.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's the official
Oh
runtime.
my gosh.
4 hours.
I just hate all the Marvel movies because they're all copy and paste. It's like, at least they're not 4 hours long, you psychopath.
At least it's not the length of 3 other movies.
Jeez.
I mean, like, I remember, doesn't the Fiddler on the Roof movie have an intermission?
think so.
That one does,
I
and Gone
feel
with the
like-
Wind does
Yeah.
as well.
This better have one.
No,
Oh,
there's
yeah,
no
dude.
way, dude. You can't interrupt the pacing for that.
It's art. It's
Do you
high
think
art.
you think Martin Scorsese is going to interrupt the pacing of Killers of the Flower Moon, a 4-hour cinematic journey with an intermission?
Just have, like really, poorly edited CGI curtains coming over the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fiddler on the
And
Roof
then-
is 180 minutes, so 3 hours and 20 minutes,
Oh my gosh. And that one felt like
80 hours.
6 hours. That one's long.
Wait, Fiddler on the Roof is how long?
3 hours and 20 minutes.
Didn't you say it was 180 minutes?
Yeah, that's 3 hours and 20.
Is that 3 hours?
No, it's 3 hours and 20 minutes.
Okay.
Because
I feel like my math
Because
is
60
is
plus
tripping.
60 plus 60 is 160.
Which is just not
Right.
true.
Sure.
But along the lines of a 4-hour movie, Return of the King, the extended edition, is in theaters this week, and it is 4 hours and 20 minutes. So if you want to go
Oh,
see
yeah,
it,
Can't wait.
Isn't it on...
I think
Wednesday?
it's only in Cinemarks, but I could be wrong about that.
I'm so
No,
mad.
I thought I...
It might be in Megaplexes as well.
And all
While we're talking intermissions, the best intermission of all time is in Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yes, of course.
That intermission joke is so funny.
It is hilarious.
They're crossing the bridge of death, and then it plays this super happy organ music and flashing colors. And it cuts back to it. It's so funny, dude.
That is just like one of the most seizure-inducing movies ever. There's just so much
a good
like
joke.
at the very beginning where it's going over and the guy's getting fired. It just is changing colors like crazy. And just talking about everyone getting sacked. It's
great.
All right, here's another question from Hannah Steed. It is, what is your most memorable movie theater experience? Which we may have answered before.
Barbarian for me.
Honestly,
Yeah.
definitely up there for me as well. Barbarian was insanely good.
Dune.
Yeah.
Barbarian, Dune, and Infinity War, I think.
Infinity War, yeah. I'll
Yeah,
say Infinity War.
Infinity
Because
War.
Infinity War was one of those things where,
Absolutely.
like, you would see people walking on the street at, like, noon that day, and you knew they were going to Infinity War that night. You know,
Yep.
My friends drove around Logan blasting the Avengers theme with our car windows down,
Nice.
and every time we drove past people on the street, literally without fail, every person we drove past was like, "Yeah!" like,
was, like, so
super
excited.
stoked about it
That's
because
so
it was
cool.
just the whole world in unison. Say like similar to the beginnings of Pokemon Go, where it's just like I'm friends with everybody, you know.
It's
And yeah, Infinity War in the theater, it was just people were inconsolably excited.
it's pretty
like
lame that will
Thor
never
and
happen
Groot
again.
showing up. People were screaming when Thor and Groot showed
Oh,
up.
dude.
It was
yeah.
oh man.
That was so fun. I love
Oh,
seeing
man.
Infinity War. And I don't think they'll ever be able to capture that again, honestly. Marvel. Maybe
Yeah.
DC. If DC is able to build up a cool enough story and cool enough characters that people start to care about, maybe.
Yeah.
But even Star Wars, maybe. I feel like if Star Wars, the movie they come back to theaters with, maybe the Mandalorian movie. With that one, I think people will be really excited for.
Yeah.
If they're able to maintain the level of hype and like care that people have currently for the Mandalorian. But
I didn't know they were making a movie. Is that announced?
yeah, it was just
Yeah.
announced last week because we don't have a news segment anymore, which was Niall and Lucas tell Jared the
Yeah.
news.
That's actually true. So I do miss it because I don't get it.
We
anymore.
should just do a news
Yeah.
section before we start recording.
Yeah.
And they announced it's called The Mandalorian: the movie.
No, they did not announce that.
That's pretty sick. Good
Yeah.
title.
It's like a
Yeah.
culmination of all the Mandalorian era shows, and so yeah, he's gonna be in it, I'm sure. But yeah, theater experience. Also, Episode 7, Star Wars Episode 7, like The Force Awakens. I've
Yeah,
never
people went crazy.
been more excited for a movie, I think, than Episode 7, where just literally every day was torture until I saw it. And then I was disappointed, I'm not gonna lie, the first time I watched it, and I watched it 5 times in theaters just to try and get over that disappointment. But I do like it more.
Did you end up getting over it?
Yeah. But then I ended up being disappointed again after the subsequent 2 movies came out, so
Well, no, because 8 was really good.
I do like 8, actually. Even though
Do you? I feel
No.
like I don't remember that.
I
about
do
you.
like 8 a lot. I don't like it as much as you, but I
Nice.
do like Episode 8.
Sure.
I really liked Ryan Johnson in general. He's a
Yeah.
very good writer
Ryan Johnson,
and
good.
director. I will say that I think 8 does not belong in that trilogy. I think it's
I
a better
agree.
movie on its own than it
That's
is.
its biggest fault is that it's a Skywalker
Exactly.
saga movie.
But otherwise, it's awesome. But yeah, theater experience good, theater fun. Do you guys have other questions that you want to talk about?
Let me look. I feel like there was one more. Now I'm into the R.
Our actual one. I have
Yeah.
one that I had pulled up. Unless Jared, did you have one as well that you wanted to, or have you exhausted all the ones you cared about?
I think I've exhausted all the ones. I do like this one, which is with all the animated movies being turned live action, what live action should turned animated. Right? When we
That's a
talked
good
about
question.
that today. And that's kind of hard. I mean, that's a great question. I don't know what you guys have. as
Live
far as
action to
thoughts on it.
animated?
Yeah. Because you lose a lot when you go animated to live action.
Yeah.
And I've always been an advocate for no, like animated is in a lot of ways better than
For certain stories,
live
absolutely.
action. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
you can
You lose your limitations.
Yeah.
exactly.
I will say Star Wars in animated form is really awesome. They did a really good job with like Clone Wars and what I've seen of Rebels. It's really cool animated as well.
If only the animation of Rebels didn't pain me to look
Yeah,
at.
I do not love it. Like the Darth Vader design is very suboptimal.
Well, Rebels Yoda, which we've talked about
Yeah, Rebels
long
Yoda.
ago on the podcast. Rebels Yoda is one of the ugliest things that's ever been on TV.
That's so true. And then they just reverted his design back to how it was in the Clone Wars for the Clone Wars stuff. I think honestly, it would be cool to see like a Dune animated thing, like a Dune world, like just in that universe. Blade Runner has some anime that they've made, which I actually did watch that, so I guess technically I've seen some anime. But they're
What?
they're shorts, so it's not like a show or a movie. But those look really cool as well. That world does a great job of translating to animation.
No. If they did The Last Airbender, but as an animated show and put it into like seasons instead of just like split that movie, say, into a whole season of The Last Airbender, and then do 2 more
That
after
could be pretty cool.
That could be very
cool.
interesting.
And keep the characters the same, right? Keep them bland.
Keep them terrible.
Yeah, just horrible. DC has done a really good job of having cool animated movies, whereas Marvel hasn't really as much. Like
true.
What If was fun and fine, I guess. Like it wasn't the
But
greatest.
it's a
Yeah,
gimmick.
it was just a gimmick. It'd be cool to see more Marvel animated stuff that was actually like it used the animated format to like its full potential. Like Spider-Verse. I mean, obviously, Spider-Verse is a great example of a superhero movie fully taking advantage of just animated stuff being just so cool.
Yeah. Man, I'm struggling with this one. I want to get a good answer, but I can't.
Here's a question while you're thinking, because I just have the answer. Garrett Sweeten.
Here's another question to think about.
Yeah, no. It's Garrett Sweeten says, when is Venom 3? And buddy, that is 2024. So you only got a year and a half ish until you get to see Venom 3. So
Wait, is
Oh,
that actually
thank
true?
that's actually true.
I didn't know there was a Venom 3 happening.
There is.
I've
Venom
like
3,
actively
Let There
not
Be
paid
Morbius
attention
2.
to Let There Be
There is a Venom
Morbius
3
2.
coming.
Let There Be Craven 1.
Craven comes out this year. So Craven the Hunter, I know for all you Craven fans out there are excited about that. So you'll get to see that this year. And then Madam Web will be next year. And then Venom 3 should be 2024 as well. If we're unlucky, it might get pushed to 2025, which would suck, obviously. But hopefully we can get it this next year.
There's so I want to say really quick. There's a book series I love called Red Rising, and I've talked a little bit about
nice.
it. I think on the podcast. And it was announced that they are getting a show.
Oh,
On
cool.
one of the major streaming platforms.
Is it
I don't
animated
think
or?
they've. Now I'm pretty sure they've confirmed it's a live action.
Oh, interesting.
But I would really, really prefer that it be animated. And the reason is like the characters and the design of the world is kind of built to be animated, I feel like, right? Like the people are biologically very different. Some of the characters are like 7 feet tall, while some characters are like 4 feet tall. And if you do that in a way that's like Lord of the Rings, that's great. Do I think they're going to put that much attention and love and focus into it for a
Streaming show?
not the biggest book series ever streaming show?
No.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It like you're not going to get these epic space battles. You're not going to get the epic like fights and everything. Like there's these weapons called razors in the books. I don't think you're going to be able to get that right without it being animated. So that's just an example of I would love to see that, not live action. I would love to see it animated. And the reason why is like it's the scale of Dune.
Oh,
You know what I
nice.
mean?
Right,
Like
yeah.
when I told Niall this, when the bombardment on Arakeen like comes down, like that is so sick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's like the scale of
Yeah, it's
what
so cool.
Red Rising should be. Is that like?
I see. Yeah.
But the thing is again with a TV show.
Yeah, no, there's
you're not
no
gonna
way.
get that.
That
Like,
sucks.
It's got to be the scale of like the first episode of season 2 of Vox Machina, right? Where the
Right.
dragons come in and just obliterate everything.
Spoiler warning.
Well,
Who cares? I don't know if a single person listening is behind on Vox Machina.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Everyone's caught up.
Yeah,
for you.
everyone's caught up, or they're just not going to watch it.
I
You're gonna watch it.
I will
have
watch
my answer. You know what would make a sick anime?
it. To the show, animated show.
The Matrix.
I think that'd be great.
I actually agree.
I think
It
that's
really
a great answer.
would be like perfect for that
Yeah.
format.
Absolutely.
And there's so much in that world that, like, not to say that they didn't do a great job with it with the first one, but there's so much more that you could expand in an animated format and just, like, again, basically take any of those limitations where they kind of had to get creative with how they approached certain visuals and stuff, and then just multiply that by a billion, and that's what you could do with animation, you know, just like there's no glass box that you're trapped in.
Mm-hmm.
They could go hard with the Matrix in an animated format.
That would be pretty cool. I honestly think that would be awesome. If you guys don't have another question, I have a good question we could end on.
Yeah.
So
Sure,
here,
let's do it.
this is from Landon
Bring it home.
Gwynn.
Longest episode.
Longest episode. Here we
Landon
go.
Gwynn.
Landon Gwynn. Shout out to
Shout
Landon.
out.
We love you, Landon.
Shout out.
We love
I
you.
hung out with
I
him
love you.
last week, and we were.
What did he say?
Do you want me to recount every single word, or just the segment of the conversation that I was gonna?
Give me the gist of every word.
Okay, I'm not gonna do that. But he was like, because we put up an episode. I don't even remember which episode it was, but he was like, I was driving and I got the notification that you guys put an episode on, and I immediately started playing it. Because there was another friend of ours there who was like, oh yeah, I love it. I'm the biggest fan. And Landon's like, no, I'm the biggest fan, and here's why. And it was very fun.
That's so sweet.
That is
Yeah,
awesome.
Landon is a good
Thank
egg.
you, Landon.
Carter, who was the other guy, and Alex, you guys are not as good of fans or friends, so
Worse eggs.
worse egg.
Worse eggs.
Still
Worse
fine,
egg.
Not
but
bad
You're,
eggs.
I
you're
would
worse
eat
eggs.
it, but like I wouldn't probably like it. The yolk is
Only
probably
hard-boiled.
gray and burst in the shell already. So
What's the question?
so the question is a great one to end on. What have you learned from doing 100 episodes?
That's a great question, actually.
That was a great question.
I think it's a
And
good one
we've
to
talked a little bit about it. I think we've lost some of the formatting. We've added stuff.
end. Yeah, we've adjusted.
We realized that we wanted to do some fun bits at the beginning. Like you can watch it change, like not just the quality of the production, but also just like we wanted to do news segments, and that worked. But then we realized, no, a lot of people who listen aren't listening every week.
Yeah.
And
then
so
they get
if you
behind,
go
then
back
it's immediately
and
irrelevant.
listen, exactly, if you're listening back on an episode, that it's super dated. And so I think just those kind of things we learned. But at the same time, we've also learned a lot about what we want to do going forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so hopefully this summer, this new era of
Man Cave Movie Night.
Man Cave Movie Night.
Two of us will be graduated.
Not
Yes.
Niall though.
And
Don't
so-
imply that
Not
you're
Niall.
Not me.
you're not part of us.
Two of us.
Hey, between
It's-
the three of us, we will
Two
have
of the three
3
of us.
degrees.
Hey,
Think about
that's
that.
a good point. Unless you
Alright,
count
chill with that flex real quick.
unless you count associate's degrees, in which case we will
Yeah.
have
Between the three of us, we have 3 diplomas. So
high school
how
diplomas.
about that? Yeah.
That's true.
That's, yeah.
Cool. Well, continue, Jared.
We
Um,
all
here's-
graduated high
We
school.
all graduated
Here's
high school.
something-
Yay!
Here's-
Yay.
Here's something that I learned, and this is maybe just like I don't know. I think that I tend to picture like the end that I have in mind of like, yeah, we're gonna be huge podcasters and we're gonna have like sponsors and blah 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 and all these things. That's always how I pictured it. Like, oh, if I ever join a band, I'm immediately gonna be like in one of the big bands playing like Bonnaroo and stuff like that. And I kind of like blow my expectations out of proportion. Not even expectations, but just like my imagination of like what it could be. And I've found that it's entirely fulfilling to have it not be that.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? Like I would love to like go somewhere with this and make it bigger. But even if it didn't and it just stayed at this level and we kept doing it for another 2 years, totally content just because I'm having a good time
Yeah,
doing it.
me too.
Like it's the process of creating it and putting it out that is the fulfilling part to me.
For sure.
Everything that kind of happens after that is like cool, whatever. And like when people say they listen to it or things like that, like that's awesome. That's icing on the cake for me. But the lion's share of my fulfillment just comes from recording this and then seeing that it gets uploaded and getting that notification, you know. So I love it.
Yeah, I think very rarely does it feel like a chore to like get it done. There's definitely been weeks, and I think we've all agreed with this, where we're like, God, we've got to. Yeah, no, I can't. Sorry, friends, I can't do something tonight. I've got to record the podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It has felt like that sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, but I think definitely most of the time, I am excited.
Yeah.
At least to like sit down and create something and just chat about these things that I want to chat about anyway.
For sure.
Same.
And that's the thing. It's like most of the time when that stuff does happen, where it's like, oh man, it's like our own fault because we just are very poor at scheduling. Like, it's just like, oh, it's, 9 p.m. on a Sunday. We don't have a topic chosen. We'd love to get the episode out by Monday, but then it's like, oh, we can't do it tonight, and so we push it to Monday. And we still get it out Monday, but it's late Monday night. And so it's just like stuff like, I mean, life happens. And it's very fun. And I think we've been, trying to up the quality. We've been trying to do video. I got a new webcam so that you can see how disfigured and ugly my face is and my body, so that you can see it in higher definition, which is nice to have.
But at least now you can see all of the individual warts instead of just looking like one big
And huge just disfigurement. Yeah, that is really nice for people. But honestly, like I totally agree with what Niall and Jared were saying. I've loved doing this. It's always fun when people say that they like listening because we like making it. And I am, to Jared's point as well, excited to put more time into this summer into trying to grow it. Because, again, agreeing with Niall, I would totally do this just for fun. But I think it would be also really cool to be able to, grow it and make money off of it and get, do the best we can with it, because I think this is a pretty fun and quality product that we, have made over the last couple of years, like 100 episodes. And the fact that we've done 100 episodes shows that we are committed, at least in some regard, to this at this point. And so, yeah, I'm excited to kind of put more time into it, as I will have more time this summer, as will Jared, as will Niall. Yeah. I mean, Niall is going to be graduated, but he'll still have more time, and so I'll have a lot more time. It'll be nice to kind of have more fun with this and try and, put more time and energy into marketing it and kind of growing it. But regardless, I think we've learned a lot from it. It's just been fun getting to know each other better too. I mean, even though none of us did well in the Newlyweds game and I did the worst, I would say like the questions, I knew why he was asking the questions, and so it was like stuff like that. Yeah. It was fun to kind of do that.
Yeah, and I said earlier about the whole, this is the biggest milestone, and it does feel like that, but I do think we've had really awesome milestones just throughout this process, and a lot of that is credit to some of the people we've collaborated with, throughout the process. I just want to give another shout out. I think we probably shouted out them a while ago, but to Shaylee Barney and Natalia Lance, who helped us rebrand, come up with the name Man Cave Movie Night, help us create a logo that doesn't look like Lucas made it in 10 minutes.
Hey, come on, guys. It was a cool logo.
It was a good operating logo.
For the Orange Boy Inquiry.
It fit.
It fit the name.
But this one is so good.
Supreme.
Very good.
I love this.
We're all holding it up. Awesome. We're all holding up our shirts.
For the audio.
Moments like that, and there's plenty of people who have helped us and contributed. We've had Shaylee on the podcast briefly. We've Ian, obviously today, Britton.
My mom.
Niall's mom. Who we're waiting for. You know what? Let's get her back on.
Let's just call her.
100th episode. Let's call her right now.
12:15 a.m. I can call my mom. She'll be awake.
And she won't be worried at all.
That was truly a highlight. When she answered the phone and you immediately muted yourself and got up. Jared and I were laughing so hard. We're just like, oh no. He just woke her up and she is very concerned.
But, yeah.
Yeah, well, here's to many more of those moments to come
yeah.
in the next 100 episodes.
Absolutely.
Thank you all again so much for listening. Thank you for writing this episode for us so we didn't have to. We are really, really appreciative of everything you guys do to support us. And we will see you on another Man Cave Movie Night Monday.